Welcome to the Miami Sports Vibes YouTube channel for my Miami Dolphins recap against the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, the Dolphins lose yet again. This is getting more painful as the weeks go along. This one right here is one different than the others. I mean, this is extremely heartbreaking. I mean, this loss right here, this if there was any thought of putting the nail in the coffin, I know I said it last week and I've teased it, but this is absolutely, it has to be the nail in the coffin. This is now a football team that has lost to the Buffalo Bills for years and years and years. Another opportunity there for the Dolphins to win in Buffalo. They played a better game. They played a hell of a game. I thought they came out and performed. I thought they executed well. I saw so many bright things happen in this football game. And this time we didn't blow the lead. We didn't, not make plays. We simply lost in a heartbreaking fashion. And it's like, out of all of the ways that this Dolphin fan base has experienced these losses and these heartbreaks and these injuries and all of the things that go on with this 2024-2025 Miami Dolphins season, it's only right for us to have a heartbreaking loss in there to the hands to our rivals, the Buffalo Bills. And they did it yet again, sweeping us, by the way, yet again, sweeping us in the division, which probably is not going to get talked about because we're just going to talk about the loss. But the Buffalo Bills have swept us yet again. And this is truly painful, man. This is rock freaking bottom. If it was rock bottom before, it is rock freaking bottom. The Dolphins are now 2-6. Truly heartbreaking. But let's talk about the game, man. First of all, I thought the Dolphins came out and they looked good. Man, I saw plenty of bright things happen. I saw they running the ball effectively. I saw them passing the ball efficiently. I think the defense showed an excellent display of football in the first half, limiting the Bills to only 6 points. This Anthony Weaver defense in the first half has been clamping down and setting the tone. I think they have done wonders here on the defensive side of things. Although penalties did creep up, and I am going to get to that in just a second here. But the first half, I thought the Dolphins, played a nice game. They were playing very conservative. They were not trying to, they were trying to protect the ball a lot, which I do love. You got to limit those turnovers. I thought that was a key to victory. If you want to go ahead and beat Buffalo and have a chance, it's to limit those turnovers. Tua threw 3 interceptions the first time these two met. Tua definitely protected the football as best as he could. And that's why we were in it to the end. So the first half, a lot of back and forth. I saw both teams kind of just down to give up yardage. They were not trying to get beat with deep plays. They were giving up a lot of cushion there for these short passes. And I thought Josh Allen and Tua both took advantage of that. I thought the running game got going, which I absolutely love to see. You saw Achane and Mostert. I thought Mostert played, one of his best games until the freaking fumble, man, which I definitely will talk about as well. Tyreek Hill got busy. Jalen Waddle, a complete no-show for nearly the entire game until late. But at the first half, the stats read off as this. So going into halftime, the Dolphins had a 4-point lead, thankfully, to a couple of holding calls on the Bills because Josh Allen did have a touchdown. But finally, luck went our way. And you see there, Tua's halftime stats, 82 yards. It was 10 for 11. Like I mentioned, very efficient. He was kind of taking what the defense was giving him, which was those short passes. Mostert, as I mentioned, and Achane, both with over 33 yards rushing, which you love to see. Achane continues to be a threat out of the backfield, catching the ball. Tyreek Hill only 1 catch for 6 yards in the first half. I thought that was alarming, but I thought the Dolphins defense getting an interception from Jalen Ramsey and kind of not letting the Bills get off to that momentum that they start to build, because I mentioned in my preview stream, when the Bills score, it's like the NBA. They just start scoring in bunches, and you kind of saw that in the second half. Think about it. Yet this is another week where the Dolphins defense does a phenomenal job in the first half. Last week the Cardinals had 7 points. This week the Bills only 6, and then both of those times they end up with 30. So they're giving up way more points in the second half. I don't like that, quite frankly, but those are things that have to be cleaned up. And obviously you don't have much time to clean anything up. I mean, with 6 losses, but that's neither here or there. I thought the Dolphins, this is the first half stats. I thought they played, like I mentioned, running the ball well, passing the ball well. Penalties obviously were a big part of why the Dolphins ended up losing this game, but the first half stats look pretty solid. Now, the game ended up finishing in heartbreaking fashion. These were the final stats. Tua finished with 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was 24 for 27. I thought he played a solid game, only sacked one time. I thought he moved well in the pocket. He bought himself some time. He was, throwing on the money. He was taking what's there. He was not forcing things. He didn't turn the ball over. I thought Tua played a nice, solid game, and that's why his quarterback rating is so high. He gave you a chance to win this game. Achane and Mostert, both, running the ball efficiently. The Dolphins finished with 149 yards rushing. I thought that was big time. Mostert, however, that fumble was big. Another game where Raheem Mostert fumbles the ball. You cannot have that. Protecting the football at all costs is how you win football games. And quite frankly, if Mostert didn't fumble that ball, the Dolphins might walk out of here with a win, to be honest with you. Tyreek Hill had a better second half. He finished with 4 catches for 80 yards. He kind of started to get going late. Same thing with Jalen Waddle, 2 catches for 19 yards. Obviously, I would like to see him get more, but having that touchdown late was big. Mostert and Achane both being threats out of the backfield catching the ball. I thought that was key. And then, listen, man, heartbreaking fashion, Dolphins down 7, 2-minute drill. They got to go downfield. They ended up going downfield. Tua was just making plays, delivering the ball, perfect accuracy, pinpoint accuracy at that. Had a little bit of scare with a Jalen Waddle injury. He ended up being okay, but then Jalen Waddle coming through for a touchdown on a beautiful throw and catch from Tua, giving the Dolphins life. 27-27. I was considering going for 2 at this point. Why? Because I just feel like this Dolphins defense just can't stop Josh Allen when the pressure is at its most. It's like, we can stop him. We can contain him. But when the pressure is just high, Josh Allen just really seems to just rip the Dolphins' hearts out. So I was considering, honestly, going for 2 at that point. Dolphins didn't go for 2. They went for the extra point and tied the game at 27. Giving Josh Allen about 1 minute and 38 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, to go downfield. Chop Robinson, offsides on a 3rd and 14. Absolute rookie mistake. I got so pissed off. I don't like rookies being out there when they're not ready. 3rd down, and you're giving up a penalty on 3rd and 14. I get it. It's 5 yards, but still, those 5 yards matter. Josh Allen ended up converting, getting a 1st down. After that was a 3rd and 9, but just a crucial mistake. Penalties, especially when you're playing to try to force overtime, are inexcusable. So you got a 3rd down penalty on Chop Robinson, and then a big play ends up going all the way downfield where they didn't call Cam Smith. He was in coverage, but then a unnecessary roughness call on Jordan Poyer coming in and hitting Keon Coleman up high. Got called for roughness, put the Buffalo Bills almost near midfield, about midfield, a little bit farther back, which led into the game-winning field goal. So the Dolphins, 2 crucial penalties that lost them this football game. 2 crucial penalties that you just can't do. So if I'm gonna give Anthony Weaver the credit when he's doing great, I gotta give him the credit. He has to take responsibility and accountability for this. His defense ended up having these 2 crucial penalties, which didn't even get the Dolphins to overtime or have a chance to win this game ultimately, leading into a heartbreaker where Bass ends up making a 61-yard field goal. And of course, the kicker who misses extra points, is shaky, makes the 61-yard one right through the middle against the Miami Dolphins. Of freaking course. And then we lose this game 30-27. Truly heartbreaking, man. And it is heartbreaking because the things that we've been banging on the table for, man. We wanted to see Tua play efficiently. We wanted to see Tyreek get going. We wanted to see the run game get going. We wanted to see Mike McDaniel trust the run game. He did all of these things. The Dolphins put up points. The Dolphins put up a fight. The Dolphins ended up coming in clutch down the stretch. They didn't fold. They stepped up. They battled this whole game. They were in there throughout the entire game. Plenty of great things. But it comes down to beating yourself. Raheem Mostert with the fumble. Penalty on Chop Robinson. And the big one, the unnecessary roughness on Jordan Poyer late in the game, which ended up putting the Bills in position to score and nail that 61-yard field goal. So truly heartbreaking. Here's the final stats. As you look here, man, the total yards, the Dolphins won. The Dolphins are on the left side of the screen, having 397 total yards versus 325 to the Buffalo Bills. In passing, the Dolphins had more passing yards than the Bills with 248 versus 231. The Dolphins had way more rushing yards than the Bills with 149 versus 94. So you see here, more first downs, more total yards, more yards per play, more passing yards, more rushing yards, more red zone appearances. And it comes down to that big number right at the bottom. 8 penalties for 57 yards for the Miami Dolphins versus 4 for 40 for the Bills. 8 penalties, 2 of those coming at a major point in time, and then the turnover at the bottom of the screen. The Bills turned the ball over in the first half, but the Dolphins turned it over in the second half. Second half turnovers, when time is just so valuable, end up being the turning point. The Dolphins lose this game 30-27 at the hands of Buffalo Bills. Yet again, the Bills punk us. Josh Allen punks us. Bills deliver, making the plays that matter most under pressure. This disaster of a season continues for the Dolphins. Listen, trade deadline is Tuesday. I have my live stream on Tuesday. Be sure to tune in. We're going to be talking trade deadline. We're going to be previewing the next game, and we're going to be probably talking about a different Miami Dolphins roster. You're 2-6 right now. You're spending a lot of money on this roster. Will the Dolphins make moves, or will they start to kind of reset things? It'll be very interesting to see which route the Dolphins go with the deadline just looming on Tuesday. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Dolphin fans, let me know how you're feeling, man. Are you down to blow this thing up, or you want to keep going with this? Because, man, my heart is shattering, man, week after week after week. I'll catch you guys next time. Catch you guys Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Fins up, everybody. Hang in there.